It's a 2017 Toyota Prado. So these units will be in from 17 to a 2021. This is obviously an MY18 version, even though it's a 17. So just going to put the Vhedia head unit in, so it's going to explain what we do to take the old one out. You can get a few of these trim the interior side here. And that pops off that unit there. That's the aircon control. Unplug your plug here. Now under here, if you can see in here, with the sun coming through, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 10 more bolts that just need to come out. And once those come out, we can actually pull the whole unit out. Those 4 bolts are taken out now. Now what's going to happen here is the whole unit here is just going to pull out. So you just want to gently just give it a few pulls on both sides, and you'll see the whole unit just pops out there. Now I'm just going to unplug all the plugs in the back here, and then we'll show you what plugs we have. So there's the old unit there. Now there's could be 2 different plug versions for these Prados, so we supply both in the kit, but I'll show you that in a second. You'll see the adapter kit and like which one you should use. So here's your adapter kit here, and your CAN bus box, which allows it to control certain things in the car system. So you just want to take all the plugs down the white end and just like match them up. They can only plug into what they can plug into. So you can't go too wrong there. So your plugs can only plug into where they can plug into, so you can see we've hooked up 1, 2, 3 so far. It's your antenna. And the reverse camera. Now you can see we have these 2 cables left over. So one of these is going to be a GPS, which you're not going to use because your current system is going to have a GPS. So we'll tape that one back out of the way. This here is a USB retention cable, which is for your USB in the middle of the console here. So you also have this part in your kit. This is your USB retention cable here. Fairly straightforward. It's going to plug into here. Make sure it clicks in, and the other end is going to be plugged in. So that's everything here. We'll take this out of the way. This one here is currently not used because it's for a different model that has a different reverse camera input, not on this model. So that's all your wiring, easy sort of connect the harness all hooked up. Fairly straightforward. That cable here we're not going to be using. Just going to tape it back out of the way, so we know we don't need it. Just going to tuck behind there. So next thing to do now is you've got your 20 pin plug here. Is what we're going to do is we're going to get the Vhedia head unit and just plug it in and just like rest in our hands and just power on the car and just make sure everything seems alright. So here's your new Vhedia unit. Just going to plug that 20 pin black plug into the only place it can go, which is here. Make sure you push it until it clicks. So before we actually do test it, there's a couple steps we should have done here. There is a 6-pin grey cable that's going to plug into the back of the head unit. It's going to plug into this side here. It can only fit into the one it can fit into. So you're looking for 6 pins there. And then what you're after is like a purple cam in. You just want to check where your cam in is like coming out of the one that is like plugged in. So this one isn't plugged in, so we don't want that one. We want this one here that's plugged in. That's just going to go into the purple cam in cable right there. So I'm going to plug those in. And then the other one we just want to plug in is the antenna, into the antenna plug here. Just turn that beeping off, and then so those are the 2 extra things I want to do first. And now I just want to sit the head unit in here. Like so. Just want to sit it in, doesn't matter. So we can test it. Put the power on. So we just sit it in like that. Turn the accessories on for the car. And all we're looking for here is we just want to check that the unit powers up, there's some sound coming through the speakers, and that we'll put it in reverse and just make sure the reverse cam comes up. So you can see it's a bit of a CAN system telling you that the doors are open. So radio, so we can hear
when you look into the side.
Hear radio coming through, that's fine. I'm just going to put it in reverse. Just make sure the reverse all shows up. Yep. And that's all we're going to do to test, and now we can go and finish off the install. As the unit is about half the weight of the old one, the 4 screws aren't needed anymore, so you can just put those back in there, but they won't be holding anything. Now the job that'll probably take the longest of the whole install is just going to take the aircon vents out and put them into the new frame. So you can obviously see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Six clips you need to undo, so you can like set them in here. So you basically like wedge something under them and like pop them open and then lift them out. You normally need to have a few wedged at the same time, so it's a handy time to have a few little like metal tabs or small screwdrivers. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 aircon clips have been popped out. Just done it using 2 flathead screwdrivers at the same time, and just pulling them back and leveraging it out. So as you pull back a couple, like 3 of them out of one end, just pull out one end and then do the other end. There's my least favourite job, but here's the Vhedia head unit, and we're just going to grab the vents here and pop them in. So they'll just go straight in the only way that they can. You just need to line them up. So you just got to make sure that all the clips are obviously gone like underneath those tabs there. And then you just press the unit in and you'll hear it click into place. Now from the original unit, once you've obviously popped out the vents and put out the new vents in, you just need to take out the tabs too. So 1, 2, 3 tabs, and we're going to put those onto the Vhedia frame set. Screwdriver, flathead to get them off. push into the back there, grab the back with your finger, and then just pop the front open like so, and they'll come off. Now your Vhedia head unit back. Just put the clips you just took off back on. You just push over and clip in, and the top one there. Fairly straightforward. Now in your cable pack here, there's going to be a few extra cables that are going to all go into this other side here. So first up we have our USBs and a microphone. So this is fairly straightforward. You can see on the end here it's got two USBs. The one that says Android Auto on it and like CarPlay will like plug into the USB adapter that we had hanging out of the head unit. And like the other one you can locate to whoever suits if you ever need to use it. Just going to plug into there. You've got a pre-out cable which looks like this, which you will not need to use unless you have an amplifier. Aftermarket when you're running. Auxiliary cable that's brown with like a brown plug you will not need to use. External microphone. We suggest you do run these, because external microphones are good. So it plugs into the mic plug here. Clips in well, and then you can run this to whoever suits you. So you can put it out of the way somewhere tidy. And last but not least is your GPS here. So probably almost got enough cable on here. We just want to screw it into here. I'll leave it all tied up so it stays tidy actually. Just make sure that's on hand tight, tight as you can get it. I'm just going to use the stick pad to mount the GPS on the top here. So it's just going to end up sitting up here like that. Now we can do that on this model because you've only got really plastic above it. You haven't got any steel, large steel objects. Alright, so we have the head unit here and we have those extra plugs we just put in the back. Like I said, this USB here that says Android Auto on it, we're just going to pop into this USB right here. So that's what needs to happen. That's fairly tight, but it's always a good option just to put a bit of tape around that to be sure. So that gives you your retention to your factory USB, which is down the center console there. Righto, so that's pretty good now. We tested our camera, we had that all good. We're not going to be using these cables here that say F-cam. That's if you want to run a second camera, for example, a second camera that's kind of like your reverse camera. So that's, people quite often hook the caravan camera up to there, or like maybe you want to run a camera just in front of, in the front there, so you can see what's in front of you if you're doing a lot of off-road driving or for close objects. You can tell how far away they are, but we don't need them, so we'll just wrap it up. We'll put a bit of tape around that yellow RCA for the reverse camera. So we're looking pretty good. So you got these extra cables here you're not going to use, so we'll take those up to tighten them up. We might even tape up everything just to get it out of the way. So obviously you want it to be fairly like tidy when you tuck it away. So just tape it up however's going to suit best. Right, so good to put the head unit back in now. So one thing I haven't done yet is I'll just stick the GPS antenna just on top of the unit here. Obviously don't want to cover up any of the cooling fins, but just put it in between the two aircon units, aircon vents. Just need to peel off the stick. Stick that on, press it down for 30 seconds or so. Now, all our cables are fairly taped up. The other ones that's going to be a bit long are these ones here. So what we will do is we'll just tape them up a bit, and this second USB I'm going to run down to pop out of the dash down there. We'll try to improve the kit in like the future, and we'll include like another small rocker switch here. That'll be like a USB one, so we can actually get it to come in down here or over here where you have your spare panel switches. So keep a look out for that. We should be able to sort that out in the future. Alright, so I've actually just popped that USB out down there. There's just 2 bits of trim that come off. So it could be handy if you want to double-sided tape it there. It could be handy for a passenger or something, or you can tuck it out of the way. But hopefully in the future we will get a switch and you can put it into there to make things tidy. Alright. So we'll just go and plug everything in as it goes back in. So all we really have is our 20 pin black plug. Push it in so it makes a clicking sound, and your other one is your grey 6-pin camera plug. Plug that in, and then just tape, and your antenna plug, sorry. And that's all your plugs plugged in. Probably going to tape up this long USB one as well, just make it a bit tidier. So I've tucked the microphone cord just under the steering wheel here, and I popped at the bottom. Then I collected it, and I pulled it up behind the head unit here, as you can see. So it'll be out of the way, and I'm just going to mount it here. So it'll look quite tidy in the other way, but it's up to you. We can mount it. The cord's long enough that you can run it up into the sun visor or wherever you'd like to run it. There's a couple types of mic that'll come in the kit. One of them's a bug style one like this, so just like a 3M stick that will stick onto here, and on the microphone will just sit in there. And the other one's just a small round one that's like a foam one, which you could probably tuck away because it's a bit smaller. So in the end I've just mounted it in behind here, just a 3M stick pad. Just make sure you push it down for at least 30 seconds when you do mount it, so that should be quite good in there. You can't see it anyway from the driver position. Yeah, it all just goes back in reverse. cables away. Tape, if you give them a bit of a tape up, they should all go in pretty tidely without any issues. Aircon vents popping first, and then just make sure you obviously it's all going to fit in right, and just give the unit a few good pushes on all the outside edges, and you can see that's in there nice and firm. That was the aircon plug that we had. Again, it's probably a good time before you put in those 4 screws again, just to power it up and just make sure everything was working. There's just accessories turned on. Just going to make sure the unit powers up before we put in those 4 screws and the aircon. Yeah, make sure you can hear sound coming from the speakers. Everything's powering up. Put it in reverse. Make sure your reverse comes up there. You can see we've got some lines overlooking it, so we can cover a few settings here as well. So you got driving settings. You're reversing a volume, so when you're reversing you can set your volume to be off or at 50%. You might allow watching video, that just allows you to watch video. Reversing track display will turn off because the camera has it built in. Nothing else need to worry about there. Now also you want to check, obviously, that the steering wheel controls are working. If they're not working, and your 4 screws are not needed on the new unit, so you don't have to worry about those. All seems good, so final. Just plugging in your aircon, and that just clips back in. Just make sure it lines up right.